He lived a whole life, and then 802 afterlives, and a second life, then a second afterlife, and then a third first afterlife.
That could terrorize you, yeah.
His psyche is like a giant bowl of M&M peep chili.
One way of putting it.
Janet, can I please have a drink with a lot of alcohol in it?
Probably not the time.
Water is Midori Coffee made in ditch water.
So the green's a little bit too bright for me, Jason, actually. Uh-oh. Oh god.
Now he just needs a name.
Chidi.
Really? That spur of the moment? Damn. Hey, you gotta respect it, eh? Okay, well, this is called the answer, so let's see where we... Okay, we're going right back. Yeah, are we going... What answer are we gonna find?
How dare you bring that up again?
No, we are not going. I have a presentation. Take one and pass them on. There's one clear answer.
You have made a strong case.
Yeah.
Better than some of my grad students. You should get ready for school. I'll take you.
We'll both take you.
Oh, it worked. Right.
I proved once and for all that you can always find the answer.
Right.
Every problem has an answer if you just read enough books and think hard enough. You can figure out the answer to any question.
Right. So this was his foundation. He had so much hope and, childlike optimism, right? Which I don't think necessarily always accounts for life, unfortunately.
Please take a seat.
Where to sit? Obviously, we want to be back by the pencil sharpener.
Okay, here we go. We're gonna get...
Or by the door to get a nice breeze.
Chidi?
Just hang on. Oh, no.
Yeah.
He has a brilliant mind. One day he will use it to solve the world's biggest problems.
Oh, they are still together. Hey, it worked. Cool.
I can earn and get more.
Oh, no, this is plenty of cheese.
He's almost too clever, isn't he? It's too much going on. You can't handle it.
Oh, no, not that old story again. It's so embarrassing. Go ahead.
Comes in with a 1-hour lecture.
All about why we should stay married.
It was 55 minutes, but hey, I'm not going to skimp on the 5 minutes. Fair enough.
The biggest questions and the biggest answers, you just gotta find them.
Hey, we need that more than ever now.
Say, theoretical physics presents bigger questions than philosophy.
Oh, God.
Do you really think that?
Meet her halfway, dude.
Should I switch to physics?
No.
You're great. We have to break up.
Okay.
You like Kant, I like Kant.
We're not a book group.
There is an answer that will solve it.
No, some things just don't work.
Reason is and ought only to be a slave to the passions. Emotions, desire. Do you have any of those?
That's rude. Of course he does.
Strong feelings for you. Right now, I will show you how Kant refuted most of Hume's central...
Oh, no.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he was so close. He was nearly onto something.
It's 3,600 pages. I have a job, Chidi. I have a family. Till I had to read this, I had a will to live.
Okay.
Tangled web of inscrutability in the Unabomber way.
Whoa, relax.
You can't answer every question every philosopher has ever asked.
Why not?
What in these pages do you care about?
Yeah, you gotta focus it down, mate.
But
Shut up, shut up,
Should I-
shut up. The greatest works of moral philosophy are emotional.
Interesting.
They make an argument about how the world is and ought to be.
Yeah, you got to apply it to that. I mean, they're right. Chidi is kind of applying his moral philosophy in the coldest possible way to apply it to everything, to every. I mean, that's the point. 3,600 pages, everything, all of it, all at once. And it's like you just can't do that. And the show, I think, is an example for that. And to a certain extent, I've kind of tried to do the same. I've tried to calm down and find answers that where there aren't really any. And part of the moral philosophy involved, or the finagling, or the ways that you can think about it, the point is to engage and get you thinking, as opposed to actually finding an answer. I think because of that, because he's trying to do everything at once, yeah, I mean, they're right. He's being too cold about it, and it's meaning that he's not engaging with life. I mean, we just saw his girlfriend. He's not engaging with her on an emotional level, and he's treating her almost, she said, like a book club. Well, we have things in common. We like this. Well, it's like, cool, that's not enough though, right? And I think it's something that Chidi's always missed. It's so interesting that this guy says, it is at heart emotional, because I think sometimes it can seem very unemotional. I mean, you go back to the trolley problem, you look at that and it's like, it kind of seems quite brutal, and it kind of seems quite heartless, but I think, the whole point of that is to make you think about people and how we value them, and under different contexts, how we shift that value. Not just that, but more specifically, how we best shift that value. What's the, best possible outcome that we can possibly find, and why? And like I say, it's not necessarily the conclusion you come to, it is the emotion involved. It is the seeking, I suppose, of the answer. That process, that journey of the seeking that makes you feel. The only reason that you would answer or try to answer any questions in the trolley problem is because you care about people and you're trying to find the best decision for those people in that situation, right? And there is an emotional tether in that argument, in that discussion, which I'd argue that Chidi, I think he does. I think it's a little bit of a disservice to say he doesn't care. He does care. But I don't think that's where his mind goes in that moment. He has all of this information and he's trying to just filter it all through, and it's quite cold, quite calculated, which I think in his application of philosophy results in what we get in him not being able to go on that journey properly. It's interesting to think about. And like I say, yeah, I think the show is an example of that. It makes you think about these things. It makes you care in ways you might not have previous to watching the show.
There is a great mind at work in here.
Yeah.
Where is the heart?
He's got to find that, yeah.
I understand. Compose a short paper for you, arguing that I should continue working on this longer paper.
No.
She was brilliant and
Nice shoes, dude.
thought that maybe she was the answer.
The answer. There we go. Get that.
Some things in life don't have an answer.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that what everyone who knows you has said to you at every waking moment of your life?
He needs to stop seeking the answer to be able to find it. As backwards as that might sound, I feel like that's why I think we're being shown this, because he's been obviously, this has all been injected into him, and hopefully he's going to come out of it being able to find the answer we need in the present, right?
If you won't listen to other people.
Mm-hmm. Maybe look a little bit of ego in Chidi, actually. He's not listening to other people, which means that to a certain extent he doesn't value their opinion in the same way that he values his own. He is clever, and I think part of him knows that, and refuses to acknowledge or believe that anyone has it better or right, more right than him. A bit of ego, I think. And he needs to shed that. And he needs to let people in, listen, and give a little bit. He's a wall of granite. If someone comes back at him, hits him, he kind of chips a little bit off, but he keeps going. He doesn't change, doesn't shift. And what have we seen in this show? The most important thing, one of the most important things that you can possibly do as you go forward, change, keep growing, keep trying to do better day by day. This Chidi in life was not that.
Come on in. Unless you'd be more comfortable out here.
Uh-oh.
I feel like you want me to...
Come on in.
Great.
Yeah, ready to play around with him already, eh?
Which answer do I want?
Yeah.
What's the biggest fish?
The whale shark.
Cool.
Soulmate. Every person in The Good Place has one perfect match.
Have I talked about soulmates before? I think I've said, by the way, sorry, season 4, time has passed, probably. However, we're going to talk about it. You're welcome. Yeah, the idea, sorry, by the way, I'm not trying to poop on like anyone who actually does believe in soulmates. I don't, personally. Or at least, I suppose my opinion on soulmates is perhaps just a little bit different because... No, that's okay. I do believe in soulmates, just not, I suppose, in the traditional sense of the word. Because I think soulmate, you think soulmate is like, okay, the one perfect person for you. I don't think there's one perfect person for anybody. I think there are, thousands of people, and it all depends on, the right place, the right time, where you are in life. When you're 20 and when you're 30, you might meet the same person, and maybe it wouldn't work out when you were younger, but it would work out when you were older, just because of the person that you have become and have shifted into. I think it's this huge cauldron of different ingredients, different scenarios, different contexts that can mean that you fall for or connect with a person. I don't think there's one person. I think that's crazy. I think, human beings, they're so eclectic, they're so numerous, they're so unique, different, and that all connects to you in different ways, right? And that's different for everybody too. And I also think soulmates aren't necessarily always romantic. I think soulmates can be platonic. I think, if you have a best friend who you go through thick and thin with, who you can talk to, you always go to, you feel like you can go to them with anything, everything. I think that's a soulmate. I don't think it has to be romantic. It can be, and some romantic relationships can start as friendships and turn romantic, right? Yeah. Are we all destined for one perfect person? No, I think that goes against everything humanity is, if I'm completely honest. It's romantic. I get it. I get why we think this way. I get why we have, films and books and all of this stuff playing around with the idea of the soulmate. I get it, and I think it's a very, like I say, romantic idea that gets a lot of romantic people thinking, and people like that idea. Why not? Hey, you're allowed to. I just don't believe in it personally, and it's interesting. I think it's sorry. So I guess I'd be Simone in this situation. Michael comes to me. It's like, yeah, you got a soulmate. It's like, Let me ask some questions about this. I do believe in them, but not quite in the same way. I mean, at the end of the day, this thing, language shifts. I'm not going to reject the word soulmate, right? I think that word has meaning. I just think that the meaning that we associate with it is not the meaning that I go by. But I would apply the word soulmate to what I was talking about, you know. I think that's how you can describe that kind of relationship. But you let me know. I mean, if I missed something out, put it in the comments. Tell me what you think. What's your definition of a soulmate? What's your answer?
Remember this? Yeah, it was 8 minutes ago. And now you're married.
I love that we're going back and seeing little bits of events that we saw, but scenes that we didn't see.
Hey, Jason, I think I need your help. Can I ask you something?
Oh, no one's ever asked me for advice before.
And they should, by the way.
How can you just make a decision this big?
Hey, yeah. Good question.
You can look at a problem from every angle and drive yourself crazy, but
yeah,
you just gotta huck a Molotov cocktail at a drone and see what happens.
Yeah, you do. Hey, worse to stand by.
I mean, where I'm from, most things blow up eventually. If you're always frozen in fear and taking too long to think about what to do, you'll miss your opportunity.
Exactly. It's taking those opportunities and doing something with them.
I mean, I can't just open a door and walk through.
That is an issue, Chidi.
Without knowing what's on the other side.
How are you going to find out, though?
Well, I never thought I'd ever be able to get married.
Is he going to wake up and be like, I have the answer?
They're prepared.
Chidi, Esmeralda.
Okay.
Blood. Seas of blood.
Of course, yeah.
Ugh, you fool. It was birthday parties.
Uh-huh.
I must away and tend to my ravens.
Okay.
I think I can find you another partner.
Hello, shrimpy boy.
Thank you so much. That ended up being one of the best nights I've had since we got here.
Oh, that's nice.
You should really talk through that round of charades.
No, I'm pretty sure she was reading the cards off the reflection in my glasses.
Of course.
How do you have the confidence to just swoop in and...
You know, the fact that he keeps asking this to different people is really good. He's clearly seeking an answer, not being static in this afterlife, you know? I think dying really did shake him and make him actually... Well, that's the difference. What did I say before? In life, I think he was very unchanging. He wouldn't take in advice. He wouldn't listen to people. It's like my way of thinking is supreme. Got to the afterlife, obviously, very sobering. And I think that does probably change you. You know, it makes you give a little bit. And that proves it. You know, he keeps asking people. He asked Jason. He's now asked Dahani. How do you do that? He's seeking out advice. And I think we're kind of almost here seeing the journey of him, and as I think Michael's going to wake him up, he's going to have something. We'll see.
The confidence comes from failure. You learn from it.
Yeah, I can't operate that way.
You keep saying that. You've got to try.
Any chance you'd want to grab a drink and talk about ethics?
Hell yeah.
By the way, I wasn't cheating before, or eavesdropping just now.
You actually had connection, eh? Of course they do.
Esmeralda must be wondering where her soulmate is.
Oh, and I mean, that's the thing. What did we see earlier in the show? That version of Chidi that actually just no hesitation says that he loves Eleanor. He never does that, and that's such a big deal. But what's the difference in that situation, that scenario, emotion? He feels it. And what was the, philosophy professor saying before? It's intrinsically tied to emotion, and when you actually get out your own way and feel and actually apply, yourself to life, reality, stop thinking for a second, stop being cold, calculated on the outside and get in it. What did he do? What could he do? He could just say it. He didn't have to think about it. He just knew. I've talked about it before, but these emotions that drive us, they're so important. They're so intrinsic to the human experience and how we live. And I think in modern society, so often we're driven to push them aside, and that's making us anxious, making us unhappy, depressed, all of these things that make modern life so difficult sometimes, because in the materialistic world, you kind of got to keep pushing your emotions aside a lot of the time. Not all the time, but they're part of us. They're who we are. We ignore them at our own peril. We talk about, wokeness all the time now. And I think those that are associated with that label do quite often hit back with, I just care. I just care about people. I just feel I am empathetic towards people, and I want to try and make things better. And yeah, sure, there are absolutely people in that crowd that go too far, to the point that actually, are you helping people or are you hurting at this point? Do you know what I mean? Like, sure, like there's the far left and there's some problematic stuff in there, but I think ultimately, foundationally, those progressive tendencies, those progressive kinds of people, I consider myself one of them, are working towards a world where we actually do pay more attention attention to our emotions. That's what it is. And I think the natural progression of the human existence, you know, I mean, you look back the last 100 years and, you know, World War I, World War II, the 20th century that was so war-torn. You know, you have the nuclear family, you have people coming back from war, traumatized. You know, my parents were kind of one of the first generations coming out of that where they didn't necessarily have that, and they could just focus on, you know, building a family, working, getting money, living a good life, all that stuff. And I think my generation, one rung down from that, a bit further along, we have the privilege to start thinking a little bit more. It's like, okay, well, my parents had that, and there's some problematic stuff there too. It's all work, capitalism. And there's some level, some element of inhumanity almost, or rejection, I suppose, of not inhumanity, but rejection of humanity in that, because you're not necessarily listening to yourself and making decisions based on your own happiness or what you want or wherever it might be. You're thinking about, okay, I got to start a family, I've got to earn this amount, I've got to do this. And like I say, I think a lot of people nowadays have a lot of privilege. There's so much choice, and yeah, there's absolutely still issues, sure. But I think that's why we have this progressive wave now, because I think when you think about humanity and the journey that we are on as a species and how we are intrinsically linked to our emotions, we are our emotions, and think about it. How long have we been rejecting them for whatever reason, right? I think the natural step, the natural way to go as we get more privileged, as we have the time to be able to think about these things, talk about these things, we have social media, we have all this technology, we can reevaluate, take a step back and go, well, actually, who are we? What are we supposed to be? Should we be keeping calm and carrying on? Or should we be unraveling things like toxic masculinity that lead to the deterioration of mental health of men? Should we talk about unravel the misogynistic tendencies of general society and throughout the world? Should we talk about the bigoted tendency towards queer people, queer relationships, the illegality of such in certain areas of the world, etc., etc.? All of this stuff that impacts mental health, that impacts real people's lives. And I think it makes absolute sense that we like I say, have this progressive wave today. And that's, again, I've talked about this before, but I don't, you know, there have been progressive people. God, how far do you want to go back, right? I'm not saying in the last 100 years and previous there were no progressive people thinking of these. There absolutely were. But I'm talking about the progressive, I think the massive cultural shift. I think it's a lot bigger than it has been before. And I think the reason for that is because so many people now don't see each other, individuals, as, okay, you are a cog in the machine. Okay, you are here, you have been put on this earth, and you've got to go down this checklist and then you die. Actually, perhaps we're organic, emotional beings, and we need to shift things around to accommodate that into this world. Better accommodate it into this world in a way that we haven't been able to, or haven't previously, on a wider scale, a grander scale than we have before. And I think this show is kind of going a large way, actually, to kind of almost explaining why it's so important.
This has been fun, as always.
Oh. No thinking, just do.
Who was it?
Okay, I'll take those one at a time. It was a kiss. I did it because I wanted to.
That's all you need. Is this the reality where he did actually declare his love for her? Because did we see that? I don't know if we did.
Remember that story I told you about my parents?
Yeah, I don't think that story is as cute as you think it is. That moment? Woof, that's too much to put on an 8-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of wish cute little Chidi just got to be a kid.
Yeah.
Miniature professor trying to solve all the world's problems.
Yeah.
Living that way led me to philosophy.
Well, was that the right path for you?
I've been a medical journal as the youngest person ever with a stress-induced ulcer. Think about what I owe my universe-approved soulmate.
What do you want, though? How do you feel?
You are unbelievable! I don't know what I did to deserve you.
Oh.
Will you help me?
Woof, you want my help with philosophy? I'm here for you.
Nice. Nailed it. Nailed the landing.
We can do it again.
I really hope they do, you know.
I finally make up my mind about one damn thing and you try to talk me out of it? Can I ask you a question? Soulmates aren't real, are they?
In all honesty, I don't know.
Yeah.
I knew what you expected to find when you got here. Answers.
Yeah.
I used it to torture you.
Yeah.
Which, again, sorry.
Bless your heart, mate.
If soulmates do exist, they're not found. They're made.
Yeah. I know, I agree with that.
People meet.
Yeah.
They get a good feeling.
Exactly.
Get to work building a relationship.
Yeah.
Like your parents.
See how it goes.
They didn't magically stay together because you proved they should.
Yeah.
It was the feeling they got watching me.
The feeling, there you are, yeah.
And it was also what you made them remember. You know, they loved each other.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes people forget. It convinced them to go to counseling.
I never knew they went to counseling.
Yeah, kids are idiots.
Turns out life isn't a puzzle that can just be solved one time and it's done.
Yeah, you keep going.
You wake up every day and you solve it again.
There it is, the show, pushing that forward again.
Terribly inefficient.
Yeah. Keep going every single day, a little bit more.
Can you give me a second?
It's lovely that you came to that conclusion at the end, actually. And I really like this episode for that, even though it is just basically a cliffhanger for, I guess, where we're going, right? Basically. Because there's part of me halfway through this that I was like, we're not going to actually get the answer really necessary, or we're not really diving into that until next episode, right? But I'm really enjoying this episode, and I think it's really important actually to kind of show and double down on this idea of there's no answer. And I think that's the answer, right? Which I think this show has dabbled around with before, but I think at this point in the show, as we are leading up to what we're leading up to, I think that's really important to revisit, and especially from Chidi's perspective, the journey that he's on, and I think the thing that we all grapple with all the time. What's the answer? How do we find it? Are we living life the best we can? Are we finding the connections that we can or should? Am I living my best, happiest life? You know, all questions I think we ask at some point or other. And I think that's Chidi's journey in this show, and the demonstration of that is trying to almost help people with that, right? Soothe people who might be in that position themselves.
Can I have a pen and some paper?
Oh, a note.
Can you get this back to me?
Of course.
Oh, the little tears in her eyes. Did she give it back? Well, I guess she might when this happens. Beautiful. Honestly, probably for the best that he spilled that drink.
Man, I'm doing great.
Yeah, okay.
Have I been super annoying?
Oh, no.
Nope. Well,
Yes.
thank you
Jason.
for everything that you've done for me.
Nice.
You are wonderful people.
Yeah.
Find us the answer?
There is no answer.
Well, Eleanor, this kind of thing doesn't have just one answer.
Yeah.
There could be zero. Who knows? You know, the journey is the destination.
The journey. Exactly.
Hey, Janet.
Yeah. And I think almost like a meta demonstration of the show that I think, you know, and people have said this in comments as we've gone through the show, that, you know, philosophy and moral philosophy, the point is the journey. It isn't the answer or the conclusion. And I think, yeah, like I say, a little bit meta, the show kind of demonstrating that, I think, in this episode, of the answer isn't the be all and end all. That's not the point. The point is the journey. Chidi coming out and saying that line there. Yeah, it's really cool.
Can I have my note, please?
Show me.
If you know that you wrote a note, then...
But I'd still like to see it again.
I like how he's playing Chidi, by the way, here. You can see the self-assuredness in him in the way that he's playing it, the confidence, the ease, the peace. It's really nice. It's really nicely translated in the way that he's delivering his lines.
I think it might be some of the best writing I've ever done.
Really? Nice. There is no answer. Nice. Yeah, because that's the immersion. That's how you feel. That's why you feel. Beautiful. Oh, what a cool... I really enjoyed that episode. I had a great time. And I'm not even, like I say, I'm not even mad that we didn't actually get to where I feel like you think we're getting to as you end last episode. Yeah, hey, I'm going to end that there. That was the answer. Or should I say, not the answer in a certain way too. Thank you so much for watching. Hey, there are some links down in the description below if you'd like early access to all my videos. I think I'm about 4 weeks ahead at the moment. So go to my channel page, scroll down, see what's available. If you feel like it's worth it, go have a look. If not, don't worry. It'll all be out on YouTube for free in time. Thank you, genuinely, as always, to those who do support me. Genuinely just thank you for your support. For those who this was the first video that you've seen of mine, if you're not subscribed already, please do consider doing that down below. Like the video, all that stuff to help me out. Thank you so much. And hey, that's it for this week for The Good Place, but we will be back very, very soon. Until then,